So you're welcome, son. I spit rhymes for 2111, lifting up your soul so you're not stupid.
What's up, everybody? Eric Taylor, Biggie Astrology. Welcome to episode 167. Can you believe it? Knowledge is love. And tonight I have a very special guest, as together we will discuss and bring to you this energy for the Taurus lunar eclipse. I'm joined by Galactic intuitive astrologer, Miss NBA business coach, Akashic records reader, Miss Lisa Brady. How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
Oh man, it has been a busy day, hard at work, getting prepared. And I think the energy for the collective has just been kind of like, whoa. What, like Black Rob, like, whoa. And I'm just like, okay, how can we present to people, me, I always like to, go positive, but just also the truth, right? Because we are in the nodal axis. We just came off this solar eclipse, right, in Libra, 21 degrees. And now we're finishing up, right, and the lunar eclipse is an ending. And we're finishing up the ending of the previous 18 months nodal cycle of Taurus and Scorpio, right? When we won't see this until the reversal in 9 years of the financial, possessions, sex, truth, health, physical body, values, money access for 9 years. And, I just think, first of all, it's October 28th, 4:24, some say 4:23 p.m. Eastern. And it's 5 degrees Taurus moon, 5 degrees Scorpio sun. Okay. And before we kind of get into who Lisa Brady is, what are your initial thoughts about the current energy and just to what do we anticipate for this Taurus lunar eclipse just 3 days before Halloween? Woo!
Well, there's a lot happening, that's for sure. And it's not very stable. It's almost about the polarity that we have. A lot of heartfelt, great energy being put out, but then at the same time, we have these conflicts in the world. There's uncertainty. There's this overall energy of the unknown, but then there's the known, like we know in our hearts where we need to be, what we need to do. So it's very much wobbly. It's wobbly and intense for sure.
Definitely. So let me ask you this. I mean, for our audience and, people coming in, and we'll get to people in the chat soon and stuff like that. I kind of want to go back, but also kind of hit on first, who is Lisa Brady? But then at the same time, and let me start by saying this: Cancer ascendant, Pisces, Sun and Moon in the 9th house. And we'll get more to Lisa's placements. We don't show the chart because it's still very private and intimate, but I will definitely highlight some more of her placements so we know that you are this, and I must say, right, Mercury, Venus, and Aries. So you are this spiritual warrior. But where are you from? And could you imagine being all this Akashic records and galactic intuitive astrology person? So who's Lisa Brady?
So that's a great question. First of all, I'm a mom. So that's my biggest thing. I love my kids, and I was definitely here to work, to have kids and work with kids. And I think the kids are our future, but without talking too much about them, because, they get enough of the time and attention. Yeah, I think I'm just, along with some other people, really not just figuring out who I am, but really being able to step into that authenticity of who I am. Coming from the era that I did, I was never encouraged to embrace my spiritual gifts, and now I'm in a position to do that. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people that what I'm doing helps. So I'm like, okay, You know, I'm trusting my own intuition. That's why I'm an intuitive astrologer, but also the people that I work with, you know, they tell me that, you know, it works for them when they connect with me, and all of that connects back to the astrology, but then even beyond that, the cosmos. And that's really where I like to play. You know, so I know you're a great expert in astrology, and I love learning from you because I do learn from you. You're an amazing teacher.
Thank
You know,
you.
but I'm really in that Pisces moon, Pisces sun. I'm happy out in the out in the cosmos.
Oh, you are like the psychic energizing bunny. But I want to ask you, so what do you think it was that first, you know, well, one, you're from Massachusetts, right? You're Boston gal.
I am.
Okay.
We have some nice ladies in the chat, so I just wanted to say what's up. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hey, you guys. And please, you know, we're gonna get to the Taurus lunar eclipse chart. If you have any questions about galactic astrology for Lisa, you can definitely put them in the chat. But so let me ask you, when did you first tap in and learn about the Akashic records, and then what, you know, pulled you in or drew you to galactic astrology compared to just doing mundane and natal astrology like myself?
Well, I liked the cosmic piece to it because, well, I have a son who went into the service, and you know, through my awakening process, which has been many years now, like not many, but not my whole life, but there was something more that I needed answers to. I needed to be able to connect. I actually needed to do like some dark night of the soul work. I needed to really wake up, not just to my gifts, but wake up to the truth of what's happening on this planet. And there are all walks of life here. You know, so for me, I was always that Pisces, glass half full. Everybody's got a great heart. And the truth is, there's people that just don't. And I had to, like, I had to.
There's some MFs on this planet that are not nice.
I was like, wait a minute. And so when I really realized that there was something out there, if you want to know, like, the real deal, I said, please show me. I know that I'm connected, I'm protected. I know there's heaven. I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But the planet showed me, this is going to get wooey, this is why I'm in Galactic. It showed me like outside in the clouds, a huge Grim Reaper formed above me. Massive, massive Grim Reaper. And I wasn't scared, but I was like, oh, the answer I was looking for was, wake up, there's this here.
That's deep.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I can't be walking around acting like everything. I can save the world with my love, because what I need to be able to do is battle the dark if needed, which is where that Aries midheaven comes through, and some of my more, you know, fighting energies, not fight in a bad way, but, you know, fight for my children.
Well, to be brave and courageous. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. And, you know, I know with the Cancer ascendant, and, you know, you're a Gen Xer like me, but, you know, I'm Pluto Virgo, you're Pluto Libra in the 4th house. And I know that can be, you know, traumatic and painful, and you learn the life lessons through relationship. But when you think about the evolution of your journey and that Pluto energy now, do you think in some way the Pluto Libra in the 4th house, magnetically, energetically, and the transformation, transmutation kind of is what connects you to the astral plane and the spiritual realm, even let's say from the home, and how you relate to others?
It's possible. Now, how each soul connects to the galactic and the cosmos, I believe, is very much unique and individual. For me, that North Node in the 4th house in Libra is conjunct star Arcturus of the Boots constellation. So I am in an exact conjunction to Arcturus, and anybody who's into star seeds and star families and heaven and etheric beings and things like that, I feel I'm very much guided on a mission for Arcturus, and there to bring that golden light of love. But they put it in a really tough spot in the 4th house in Libra, looking for that balance, seeking that justice in the matters of family, but also in all matters. So in governments, corporations, organizations, I have to it's like driving me. Like you have to go in and just deal with this stuff head on. So
no, and I would assume it would be very emotional and psychological for you, the North Node Pluto 4th house, right?
It can be. I believe that once we really understand the cosmos and how we connect to each other, that we can learn how to work through some of that, like to understand where emotions come from, what they mean, what are healthy emotions, what are unhealthy emotions, how to form healthy relationships so that you can stop those cycles of emotion and pain, being able to own the pain and embrace it and rise from it, learn the lessons from it. I'm going to start preaching here, but
no, I think it's beautiful. But I love this because this is a magical placement for you. Well, one, to brag on you, you do have Jupiter and its planetary joy in the 11th house in Taurus. So you're having your Jupiter return, which is very beneficial. And it does speak to you being this sort of teacher guru about the galactic astrology over the internet. But the Uranus Scorpio 5th house, wow. I think Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, and it's a powerful generational marker, that 7-year cycle. But in the 5th house, to me, I see for you, not only probably for your creativity around business and money, but also that speaks to me that you've done this in a past life, working with the esoteric and occult knowledge and being someone that it's connected to your heart chakra, and that you are about evolving and liberating the collective through these modalities, and it's true to your heart. Does that really resonate with you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My heart is really where I just keep going back to, and the people, it's very, very powerful within me. And then that Libra connection too, it's just like I'm just drive towards that. It's almost like, and then you add in the asteroids and some of the fixed stars, and it's like it's all there. So I signed up for this. I signed up for it, and just got to take the good with the bad,
Oh yeah. So let's go to the chat, read some of the questions and comments, and then we'll start talking more about this Taurus lunar eclipse.
Okay, so let's see. We have good evening. Hello, everybody. It's transit South Node conjunct my Pluto Saturn in the 4th. We have Irene.
Hey, Irene.
Yeah, hey, Irene. And so, yeah, she's understanding that Saturn. Oh, so you have Pluto Saturn as well. And the current transit right now is the South Node is transiting. The North Node's transiting your South Node, right, Irene? And yeah. So, and then we have knowing, fellow Cancer rising, Aries MC here. We stay ready. Heck yeah, we do.
Hey, knowing, what's up? I love that.
Yeah.
And you guys are very much naturally nurturing. And do you know some of the ancients felt that the authentic real birth chart is not like the Aries ascendant, but it's really the Cancer ascendant, because what? We're born from our mothers, right? And that kind of makes sense, right? 1st house Cancer, Leo, the father, 2nd house, right? Out there kind of, getting the big piece of chicken, making the money, right? And then the 3rd house, right? When you kind of go out into the world, being of service, and you got to be analytical and critical, the Virgo. But the Aries sun, right? Aries is exalted in the sun, and that would be the Aries in the 10th house. So it really does make sense. And I wonder if that is like the real authentic birth chart. And there are a lot of powerhouse Cancer ascendants besides you and knowing. You got like Michael Jordan and a bunch of other people. But you know what I mean? That kind of makes sense to me. I could see, the Cancer in the 1st house being the the real authentic chart, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we have Evelyn here. She's saying, hey.
Hey, Ev.
She's here.
And like I said, this eclipse, it is an out of sign eclipse because the nodes are at 24 degrees, North Node Aries, South Node Libra. And obviously at this time, right now, we're still, in that conjunction of the Sun and Mercury and South Node. And we're dealing with so much energy, right? And we're just like trying to raise our vibration and frequency and pray for peace and harmony. But tell us what's kind of behind the scenes in the galactic on this Taurus Scorpio axis, because Mars and Mercury are going to be conjunct the Sun as well. And then you got the Taurus moon in that conjunction to Jupiter, and Mars opposing Jupiter, which is literally the fights and arguments about our beliefs. This is a fixed eclipse, you guys. It can be extremely intense. But what's out there in the galactic?
Well, yeah. So that's a really good point. In Scorpio, with Mars and Mercury and the Sun, we also have the Shapley Attractor, which is the largest galactic point that we know of. It's the most recently discovered, and it's just this massive, behind-the-scenes, exceptional force that is bigger than the galactic center, the super galactic center, and the great attractor. It's just this massive force that is like drawing everything to it, and that is conjunct and playing a big part in this eclipse. And also
that's conjunct the Scorpio Sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have that obviously opposing in Taurus as well. So we have more people joining. Hey, everybody. But we have a fixed star in Scorpio at 11 degrees. It's called Crux, just to give you like an overview. And then in Taurus, we have an important galactic star called Hadar, which is part of Beta Centauri constellation. And that the moon's sitting right there close to Jupiter. So that's going to really expand some of those emotions that you were talking about, Eric, with that Scorpio Taurus energy. It could really provoke some emotional topics, and it could become heated if we're not aware and bringing it back through to that Taurus energy of bringing it back to center, putting our feet on the ground, really connecting with that peacefulness that we really are going to need to deal with that extreme energy. But then also in the galactic, it's almost like an X. We have Pluto. We have Scorpio and Taurus, but then we have like Aquarius, Pisces, Aquarius, and the Virgo spectrum, where we have these beautiful royal stars that are sitting there. So it's like we have this challenge, but then again, the polarity, we have this flowing supportive energy that I feel is good for us as well. And then, oh my gosh, there's so many asteroids that are also showing as prominent in this chart as well. So I don't know where you want to.
Well, let's start with the. I thought it was fascinating because let's start with you said Crux.
It's Crux. It's Crux.
And what does that mean in terms of it being in that conjunction to the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Scorpio? Like, how can we feel it for the collective or even for the individual?
Well, I find it interesting because this particular star is in the Crux constellation, and it is a prominent star in the Southern Hemisphere. It's almost like the North Star of the Southern Hemisphere. And it's been used, this constellation and star has been used by sailors and indigenous people. It's millions of years old, and it's connected to the grid lines, where it sits, where its light shines is an important grid line on the planet. And then that grid line feeds into the rest of the grid lines. And it's really about bringing through the divine feminine. That's what that star represents. But as with everything, there's a darker side to that star as well, which is where it's sitting in Scorpio. It's connected to the occult. It can be connected to, I don't want to say like murderous or like dark histories, okay?
Well, it's funny. Wait, let me ask you this, because it's funny that you say that, because for me, breaking down the lunar mansions, the Taurus moon at 5 degrees, right? The lunar mansion of its exaltation in Taurus really starts after at the 10th degree. So at the 5 degree, it's in the lunar mansion, right? We always go with Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, but then the lunar mansion, and also known as the nakshatra in the Vedic, it is the sun. So this can be, yes, a very calm moon, but it can be a moon that, if agitated or frustrated, it can get very, almost through like a lower value of self or lower self-esteem, it can get very prideful and like a bull, charged like the bull in the china shop, and be, very on the attack. And then the same thing with the sun. Right? The Scorpio sun, you guys. So we know it's, we look at the traditional ruler as Mars, but at that 5 degree, the lunar mansion is Saturn. So this is a really kind of like, almost like Taurus, moon, sun opposing Scorpio, sun, Mars, Saturn. And one thing that I find in that, it makes me think about us kind of really having issues with authority figures at this time, and the collective. The moon represents the collective in a chart. The moon kind of opposing the governments and the authorities. You know what I mean? And I think this is really kind of telling in this chart, especially I think for the West Coast, looking at the Aquarius ascendant and Taurus moon being in the 4th house. You said something earlier that was really powerful. We have got to be calm and ground ourselves in nature, right? And I think of like Taurus, right? It's very much associated with the crystals and the gems and hugging trees and, really trying to look up in the sky outside in nature and get off our technology and phones, put our feet in the ground, earthing and things like that. And do you find, or do you feel with sort of these alignments that that's kind of on the menu to kind of help the collective for this eclipse, and it kind of easy now, star, and chill out?
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is definitely a time for us to be able to release that Krook star can bring up stuff that we need to deal with. Like, we have to deal with it. Pluto being in the final degrees of Capricorn, the stuff that we've carried with, this is connected to my Uranus. This is generational lineage. This star is connected to generational trauma. It's connected to lots of deep healing. So this eclipse is allowing us to really potentially feel that, but then also release it and go back to the Taurus end of it, where we can ground ourselves, turn to others, ask for the support that we need, really just deal with these things so that we can move forward as a collective. Because again, that Krook star is connected to beautiful, divine, feminine energy that's connected to the ley lines of Earth. And when we can tap into that divine feminine, that's about kindness and caring and compassion and overcoming a lot of the stuff that we've carried as humans for too many generations. So this is the real opportunity for us to face the music, but do it in a way that's healthier and more grounded, for sure. And with all of the asteroids that are sitting there, we have support from Ceres also in this Scorpio, and that's the mother asteroid energy. That's very much connected to
nurturing and caring for things. Yeah.
Exactly. And then with Mercury there, I think it's going to want us to talk about things that maybe haven't been easy to talk about, which could cause some conflict. But if we know where we're coming from and we stand in our divine feminine, and this is for men and women, men who may want to process certain emotions or release stuff so that they can step into their best self. This eclipse is supporting all of that, which is really divine and wonderful. We have Juno, Lilith, Venus, all sitting in Virgo. We have Regulus and Fomalhaut. There's so much positive divine energy in this chart as well. So I'm very optimistic.
I want to bring up the chart, but maybe you can take a couple questions or comments in the chat. And, you know, as you're doing that, I'm just going to say a couple things out loud, and you can see, you know, read through and see, you know, what you want to, you know, what comments you want to get or whatever. But the ruler of this eclipse, Taurus, Venus, well, Venus is in Virgo and it's in its fall there. And so I think that's kind of fascinating because it's also speaking to us being kind of really grounded, right? And also connected to humanity and to be of service to one another. And that Venus Virgo, so sextiling the Mercury and the Mars and the goddess of harvest, the Ceres and Scorpio. And I think that they're still, you know, this Venus Mars sextile has been at play, and that's still a very sexual energy. But I think with Venus and Virgo, it's also telling us as a collective, hey, this is a time to analyze and assess your value, self-worth, your relationships, but be very practical and really introspective about your finances too, and what you value, what possessions you have, what really matters. You know what I mean? So I think that's something for us as a collective to think about, because you always look at the, you know, the ruler of this eclipse, and Venus, you know, Taurus moon, the ruler is the Venus, and where is it at? In Virgo. So I'm going to try to bring up this birth chizzy. And like I said, you guys remember, it's, you know, the ascendant is in Aquarius. But that's, you know, really for, of course, now I got to figure out how to do it. There we go. All right. We see the chart now?
Yes.
All right. So what's fascinating, and then I want you to really, you know, bring in the fixed star stuff as we're looking at this chart. But you see this Scorpio, you guys, obviously for this chart, it's in the 10th house, and based on what your ascendant is, it could be in the 9th if you're on the East Coast in Pisces or whatever. But what's most important is, like we said, this sun at 5 degrees, the Mercury and the Mars, and the goddess of harvest. But remember, this is the financial access. Scorpio deals so much with health and the root chakra, emotional intensity, very, very empathic. Remember, think of Pisces, right? Like Lisa, right? She's the Pisces sun and moon, very intuitive and psychic. The Scorpio's more empathic. They feel the energy. They see through things energetically. And then the Cancer, which is also Lisa's ascendant, it's just that, I knew that deep inner knowing. It's the sage wisdom and mother. That's why Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, you guys, right? It's so beautiful, the story of the astrology. But Lisa, one thing I'm thinking about with this Mercury and Mars, there can actually be a lot of intensity about how we communicate, especially in public or at work with one another's, right? We know what's going on in the world right now. And just even in America, forget the Middle East, but even in America, there's so many, you know, I think of this Libra South Node, and even the Sun and Mercury now, and Mars was in Libra for a while. We have so many negotiations and contracts for unions. Writers Guild got their deal. You still got Screen Actors Guild. You got Kaiser. You got the Auto Union, right? And they're going to, you know, start going on strike in more places. You had, you know, unions with the pharmaceutical. And then you have different places where people are starting to form unions at their jobs that they never did before. So what's going on in the galactic that's really hitting these points of like the 11, you know, between 11 and 15 degrees, you know, hitting the Mercury Mars? Are there, you know, the things you were saying with the crooks and the Shapley?
Well, Shapley's at 2 degrees Scorpio, and then Crooks is at 11. So
wow.
Mars is conjunct Crooks. So I mean, we might see some stuff about secrets coming through about you know, dirty money and corporations, and just Um,
A
stuff
lot of the corruption in the political system and all the, because right now, honestly, right, you guys, Pluto went direct, right? October 10th, October 12th, Mars went into Scorpio till November 24th. Yes, it's at home there, but you know, Mars in Scorpio can be very much delve into criminology. It can be a dynamic healer, but low vibration criminology, very intense sexually, but it can be the probing investigator seeking the truth, okay, about finances and the medical system. So with Pluto now 27 and 28, 29th degree, it doesn't go to Aquarius till January 21st, 2024. So there's a lot of transformation and destruction of our systems, you know? So tell us about this Taurus moon and the Jupiter with the 5 and 11 degrees in terms of what you had mentioned that's, you know, there in the cosmos with it.
So we have oppositions. We work with conjunctions and oppositions.
Yeah.
But the even though it's in the financial axis, the matters of home and material items and whatnot, there could be some this Hadar energy. It's again going to help balance some of this toxicity that Scorpio might be looking to uncover.
Can you spell that for me? The Hadar? Like I don't know that much about it. What is it, and what does it like really mean?
So Hadar, Hadar.
Okay,
It can be my favorite thing that when I first was like getting into learning about it was shape shifting. You know, so we have to always connect. But another piece of it is twin flames. So there's some great twin flame energy connected to Hadar as well. It's part of the Centaurus. So Chiron is the centaur, right?
Yeah.
He's the half man, half horse.
Yeah.
And the Hadarians are from the Beta Centauri star. So there's two stars there, Alpha Centauri, Beta Centauri. It's more, this planet's more of the star system. It's more of like aquatic, very, very deep, pure love. The souls and star seeds that have incarnated on Earth from there are very much about deep, unconditional love. And when they come here and they're seeking that same kind of love, and then you'll find that twin flame type of relationship prominent. They're seeking that twin flame, or they're looking for those really deep, deep love connections. And sometimes it can be a challenge because that deep love really has to come from within them. So there's an opposition to Hadar with this Jupiter moon at this eclipse. So I think that's interesting. I like that.
Can I ask you a question about that? So if someone has sun, moon, rising in their natal chart or stellium or a lot of Taurus energy, could that be an indicator that their galactic lineage is connected to the Hadar?
I mean, it could be. The thing about it is that we have a lot of constellations and we have a lot of multi-galactic souls here. We have soul origins from, we were talking Shapley attractor with this sun, conjunct this sun, right? There's lots of galaxies and there's a lot of places that these souls can come from. And so it could potentially, but we always have to look at the whole chart.
Right. And I know that Shapley attractor is conjunct my natal Venus and Jupiter in Scorpio.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fascinating.
Which would indicate to me that not necessarily that you originated there, but that you've had galactic lifetimes there, that you have a history there, that you may have picked up some of your spiritual gifts, that deep unconditional love. You can carry those traits. And so if it's prominent in your chart, you may definitely have had lives there, or even some people are connected to those stars as like an oversoul, like they are more divine. Well, we could get really into it, but for me, it's a beautiful star. And when I see it in people's charts, it usually does indicate that they do have some kind of a twin flame here.
Okay. So let me ask you, because you did mention Fomalhaut and some other energies in the Pisces, right? And we don't want to forget the Saturn retrograde is, October 28th is what this chart is, you guys, 4:24 p.m. Eastern and 1:24 p.m. Pacific. Check your local listings. So um, I always dreamt about being a weatherman, and now I am with the Galactic and Astrology. But all kidding aside, so what is in play, if anything? I don't like a 5-degree orb for the sextile, but it is still in the trine of the sun and Saturn, Scorpio to Pisces, and the moon to Saturn from Taurus to Pisces. But you said Fomalhaut, and was there something else in Pisces? And where are they at? Are they close to the Neptune or the Saturn for this chart?
Well, yeah, Fomalhaut sits around 3 degrees of Pisces. So
it's conjunct Saturn right now. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And Fomalhaut is, when we see that prominent in charts, it's usually past lives in the times of Jesus. Also, like they might have recollections of even having past lives walking with Jesus or in that time period of Earth. Also, it can be an indicator that there's some history of royal family lineage in these families. Which could also mean that we've had a long history on Earth. I mean, there's always a good and a bad. So it's really dependent of the person's chart. But that is archangel energy. That's beautiful, supportive energy that's connected to Saturn right now. But then also opposite that is another royal star called Regulus, and that's sitting with Juno and Lilith in Virgo.
Virgo, yeah.
So I'm really getting the sense that the divine feminine that's coming through with this eclipse is really asking us to step into that power within us to be able to notice when things like what Scorpio is going to reveal, notice that, and then be able to serve using our divine feminine gifts, tapping back into, we have South Node energy with the Arcturus, the divine aspects. When I say divine, I mean mystical, I mean spiritual, I mean clairs, right. Things like that. Really figuring out what those things are for us, and being able to use that, and then not being afraid to use our voice about these uncomfortable topics that Mars, Mercury, Scorpio, to be able to speak out and say, hey, this doesn't seem right, and look for that balance, and then serve. And then you can see with the Virgo, maybe potentially bringing solutions. So it's not all about bringing forth problems and being able to...
Right, because Virgo's about problem solving and figuring out things to be of service to humanity.
Exactly. So we can look at doing new organizational structures for health and for fitness and for diet, and being able to, release what's no longer serving us, but then use that to step into what will serve us as a collective. But
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's
it really is
beautiful. And you know what I'd like, and let's just say if this was, I know it's in different locations, but if you kind of looked at the Lilith and Juno and Venus and Virgo and the vertex in the 8th house, that's very connected to herbs and plant medicine. And I think, obviously this is kind of bringing in an energy for the, getting us ready for winter. And I even think about Halloween, and I hate to say this, guys, I'm not a fan of Halloween because I have children, and usually I only let them have the candy or chocolate for a day or two, and then we throw it away, because all it does is, as the air is getting cooler and the weather's changing and all these kids are eating all this sugar, it weakens the immune system. And then they always wind up with a cold November 1st and November 2nd, because my kids don't really eat candy that much. And so when I think about this Venus, Lilith, Juno, 8th house, 3 days before Halloween, as a astrologer father, I'm just like, oh God, I gotta pump in all the positive health and sea moss and different things to my kids and myself, because you know you want to take care of the immune system. And I think Venus and Virgo and the Juno being there with the Lilith, it's like really checking into your root chakra. Like, does this feel good to your physical body? Does this taste good? Is this the right food for you? How are you being of service to humanity and the collective? But also, I wanted to ask you, behind all this, we're still kind of dealing with the Neptune-Pluto sextile, and those go in cycles for, decades. But, the Pluto at 27 and, and the Neptune at, I guess at 25. Is there something close in the galactic to that Pluto around that 27th degree on either side, or the Neptune on the 25th degree?
They're not super prominent right now. They're not jumping out in the charts.
I was just wondering, yeah.
We can look at, there's a lot of stars that we can really look at, but the ones for this eclipse I don't think are super prominent. So my sun is near that Neptune. So we can look at transits in those areas too. That would make more sense if somebody has transits happening near those degrees, but there's nothing like as massive as the Shapley attractor conjunct and opposing the sun and the moon in here, because this is going to make what's already a large full moon even more prominent.
Right.
And it can be very supportive in releasing, and it can be very supportive in healing and stepping into our autonomy and really using that Taurian energy to stay grounded and to get through it. That's what we came here to do. I'm saying we can do it.
No, definitely. And, and I forgot to mention, you guys, and just, for verbiage and clarity so you understand, and I want to zoom in to really show this. It is a partial lunar eclipse, and that's because it's out of sign and in a house, right? You've got the Aries North Node at 24 degrees, and it's 11 degrees away, the Taurus full moon, right? So it's endings. But remember, on eclipses, you never do any manifestations. To me, it's more of a time to go within, be introspective, lay low. This is on the 28th is a Saturday night, or, Saturday during the day. So, people will be out and about doing their things. But I would say, I know this sounds corny and hokey, and you hear me say it in my Astro, whether it here on Knowledge is Love. Hey, try it. If you've never tried it before, right? Some grounding, some earthing. Palms of the hands and your feet on the soil, the grass, the earth. Hug a tree. Trust me, this hip hop MC from New York never thought I'd be telling nobody to hug no daggone tree, but it works. You gain wisdom, right? And remember, Jupiter, you guys, right? The moon gets impregnated by any sign that it's conjunct with. So the wisdom, the beliefs, and the philosophies, but also this is Jupiter can represent husbands for a woman in a chart, or same-sex marriage. So and it's biology and finance. So there is some connection to our possessions, values. And I think at this time, Lisa, and let me know if you agree. Obviously, a couple of things I like to notice and tell people, there's been a shift, right? So like from where we are today on the 17th, Chiron is at 17 degrees. So it's shifting to 16 degrees. And sometimes these little degree shifts, you may feel them. They could really change things in your own life and in the collective. And the same thing with the Uranus, right? So the Uranus is now at the 21, and it's been at 22 degrees for months. So that's something to notice. And then even the Jupiter at 11, because it was at 12 degrees and it's currently at 12 degrees today. So, these little movements, they change things energetically, sometimes with lunar mansions, sometimes just with placements in your own personal chart. So look at your chart and look, I wouldn't say 5, I would just say 3 degrees, orb. Like if you have anything at Taurus 2 degrees, or, Taurus 8 degrees, you're going to really feel this lunar eclipse, this partial lunar eclipse. And the same thing with just any of these placements, the closer the orb, the more intense the feeling and emotions can be. And, I don't know. We can ask people, and, Lisa, I think for you, you're a great person to speak on this personally because, like I said, your natal Jupiter, obviously, I know it's at a higher degree, but it's in Taurus. You're having your Jupiter return in the 11th house in your chart. Have you, even during this retrograde compared to it when it was direct, have you specifically felt anything around the Jupiter Taurus energy in the last few months or just in general that you may be able to share with the audience or anything?
Well, yeah, this is the thing about the galactic is that it can get really deep and esoteric. I felt Jupiter really transiting through my natal sun and moon. Right now, it seems to be just kind of leaving me alone a little bit. My Jupiter is at 27 degrees, so it's in the higher degrees of Taurus, but it's also conjunct Lilith, and it's also conjunct another difficult star called Algol.
Yes.
So those three combined make, the placement of 11th house Taurus more difficult because with Lilith there, I'm not always seen in the best light because of me bringing forth issues or trying to uncover that North Node Libra. Like my chart is all spread out, and the point is that everybody has their own unique chart in astrology, but then in galactic as well. So right now, I'm not feeling that Jupiter return so much. I'm feeling the Arcturus North Node, South Node is more prominent. And then in the comments here, we have Bella had asked, doesn't Pluto signify our galactic origin? Typically in a galactic chart where we're looking at the fixed stars in conjunction to our solar planets, our sun, moon, and our solar system in this Milky Way, we'll look to Pluto first to get an idea of where you may have first incarnated in the galactic here. It doesn't necessarily always indicate that's where you came from. It's a starting point.
And can I ask you real quick, just for clarity for the audience, is that something that you are seeing in the galactic, or is that something that you tap into more so when you're doing the Akashic records?
Correct. So I don't feel that I can't get the soul origin out of a galactic chart. I have to tap into my intuitive gifts, and I use several different intuitive gifts to be able to actually get the soul origin. However, looking at the chart does give is a piece of that. It will show themes. So if somebody has a lot of Andromeda Galaxy or Orion Nebula, and they might have a lot of direct conjunctions to stars. They might have double conjunctions, which could indicate that they might be a parallel soul. So it's like really, 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 really unique to each person, and it's hard to apply it as you can in astrology because we're talking about massive galactic spaces here, and some soul origins are star seeds. They've originated from this galaxy, but then there's others who have come from beyond this galaxy, Andromeda Galaxy and beyond. There's there's elementals, there's dragons, there's that dragon energy. Then there's higher etheric beings where they didn't really incarnate much, but they've been overseeing what's been happening in the galactic. Their energy rings through, and they might have just decided to come to Earth for the first time. So it gets really wild. And to answer your question, definitely need to go into the Akashic records for that.
So I want you to take some more questions from the audience, and you guys can ask Lisa specifically about her galactic and Akashic stuff. And I also just want you to, we'll do this at the end, but I want you to share your email and how people could reach you. But just for a little knowledge base, because some people may not know this, because I've always heard about Algol being like people come in for your head. It has that Medusa energy connected to it. Give us more insight, like how, if Algol is near like a personal planet for you, near your ascendant or your sun or your moon, what could it represent in a person's chart and their experiences?
Well, I want to be careful with how I say this. There are certain stars that I've seen, Crux, which was already mentioned, Crux, Algol, and then there's a star in Pegasus as well. Typically, when we see those conjunct certain planets in certain houses, so say Crux in the 8th house conjunct Uranus or conjunct Mars, or maybe we'll see Saturn conjunct, like these can indicate trauma, early childhood trauma, families that have had histories of dark lineage on Earth, many lifetimes of it. So Algol is connected to, and I actually learned this piece of it from Dana, who's in the chat, and she's feeling good about this upcoming eclipse, by the way. The connection to...
Hey, I'm still waiting for Dana to reach out to me. Now I remember Dana.
Dana! I'm sorry for that. Okay, so Crux is in the... I am Audie Rose. Crux is at 11 degrees of Scorpio. And they're fixed stars, so they don't move a lot. And Algol sits at around 26 degrees of Taurus. Yeah, so I'm much better in the galactic. But the Algol can be connected to spirits, literally like alcohol. So family history of alcoholism, addiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then also, drinking alcohol, becoming more susceptible to spirits coming through, not being able to hold your vibration properly and keep your aura protected. So
that's why they call it wine and spirits.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
But with my Lilith and Jupiter, I feel like I advocate against alcoholism and family trauma connected to generations of alcohol abuse and addiction and other.
Oh, that's
other
fascinating.
Things like that.
Yeah, with your Jupiter being there. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that's really that's kind of helpful and deep. I see that now in a practical life. That's deep.
Yeah, and we have a big crisis, not to be dark about it, but we have to be real. It's not all love and light with the spiritual realm right now, especially with some people waking up, some people very awake, becoming aware of this stuff. The addiction crisis is huge in this country, and people, so many people suffering, and a lot of that can be dealt with through mental health, and the mental health stuff can come through these charts, these galactic charts, connecting people with the gifts that they were born with. Maybe they were never supported in it. Maybe they did have connections to the other side and they were always told that they didn't, or there's just a lot of
right, and then they got drugged up and put in with all these toxins and poisons in their body, and then it messed up a lot of their spiritual gifts.
Yeah, exactly. And the programming and the gaslighting and the manipulation and all of that. So it's
very sad and unfortunate. So just before we go on, and I want you to get back to the chat, tell people if they want to book a service with you, how, and everything's in the description down below, and make sure you guys like and share this and comment after we're done. But just tell them real quick, what's the best way to get in touch with you, and what I know you have a special offer, so I want you to share that with the audience for tonight. But what type of services do you do?
So I do astrology, cosmic astrology, intuitive astrology, soul guidance sessions, and those are very in-depth sessions. But I also do the reports. So if somebody wants a report and they just want something written, I do that. What I'm doing for the audience tonight, and I'll keep this open for anybody who tunes in the future as well, is a basic report that is going to include the main star connections to the sun, moon, rising, midheaven, north node, potentially Pluto, anything else that jumps out. It's very hard to put this into a box because I just won't know till I see the charts, but I'm doing that offer, the main star alignments, and then the spiritual gifts that are coming through the chart that you have.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've often found people, they have abilities to do healing. With the Arcturus, it's really bringing through that healing. And with these divine feminine asteroids, it's about serving. So people have these gifts to heal, and the collective Earth needs that right now. Mother Earth needs that. So,
amen. So tell them, how do they reach you, and how much is the service, and so they can book it?
That particular offer is $66 for you guys. It's going to be a 2 to 5 page report, and it also includes a 15-minute phone call or video
Wow.
call where I can answer any questions that you have and go over the report for you. So that's a lot of information, but not
That
too much.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It might activate you into some gifts, or it might just give you some clarification. It really depends. But it's just it's lots of information, but not too much. It's a great deal. So you can get that at my website, LisaBrady.org. You can always email me as well at info@LisaBrady.org, and then I'm on the socials, LisaBradyUSA, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
I love it. You guys, listen. I'm telling you, Lisa. I don't want to share too much, but she did a little kind of breakdown and stuff for me, and it was not only awe inspiring. It was just like, I don't know. I think it's still unraveling in my heart and soul, and I have to like kind of go back and look at it again. But Lisa is more than thorough, you guys, and she's a Pisces sun and moon. What else do I need to say? Okay, she is like really intuitive, but she does it with the compassion and empathy, because like she was sharing, you guys, some of this stuff, it can bring up and show some of the trauma in your lineage, in past lives and your galactic, and but she does it with such Cancer rising, nurturing, and care. And I appreciate that about you, Lisa. It's a great gift that you have, and the way that you not just write it up, but the way that you dispense the language with the care and the emotion and sensitivity. So you guys, if you reach out to her, you will not be disappointed.
People who aren't really looking to do this kind of work for themselves are not going to be really drawn to this. But the people that are drawn to this and they want those deeper answers, it can be very healing, very clarifying. It can be very much about connecting with other heart-minded. I just made that term up. Heart-minded people.
All the heart-minded people.
Don't get me singing, Eric.
Hey, well, so let me ask you this though. I love that. But so when I think about this Taurus, lunar eclipse, partial Taurus lunar eclipse,
Yeah.
and the Venus Virgo, and even the Lilith Juno, and I know for me as a Virgo sun, I always like to look at the cosmos and the transits and the galactic. It's like, what is God's source creator energy telling us? You know what I mean? And I think at this time, Earth is going through such a transition, right? And I think with all the negative, we're ascending to the 5D, and the solar flares are the highest ever, from the sun, and the electromagnetic field. And we're sort of shifting timelines. And the one thing I've been noticing with all this Earth energy, and obviously the two planets and Pisces, and Neptune and Saturn, but even for this eclipse, the Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, kind of making, it's not exact, but like a grand Earth trine, especially with the Lilith, Pluto, and Uranus. I really feel like we are being called as a group and as a collective to focus on what do we really value, and how can we get into our physical bodies and honor Gaia and the earth, and kind of get back to the basics, right? Get back to the roots, get back to the grass, get back to the soil, the trees, the plants, the herbs. And I just wonder, with all these planets that are kind of retrograde along with Chiron, do you feel as if like the God and the universe is kind of really screaming to earth, like, it's time, like, don't worry about this and that and this celebrity and this war and these countries and this and that, like, focus in your physical body and kind of get back to basics, right?
Yeah.
Are you sensing that? And like,
I am, but again, it's like trying to meet people where they're at, and not everybody is able to, like, we can do that more easily. Some people have a really hard time still being in their body. They do use escapism. They do use, they're not used to being able to sit through their emotions. So
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying I think we're universally being called to do that and to recognize that and acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Absolutely. In these eclipses and these different astrological transits that are happening over the next 6, 12, 18 months, as we start to move into the age of Aquarius, it's like we're being told to face the stuff, sow the garden, turn the dirt, pull out the weeds, put in some new seeds, like sit back, learn how to watch it grow, wait for the fruits of our labor, like really simplify it. So yeah, like we are being told to do this, and we're given the opportunities to do it as well. And we're given just enough time, but it's also like go time. We can't just keep ignoring this stuff, and we need to really turn and be responsible for ourselves, and but also like lean on people. I know that I certainly didn't get to where I'm at by figuring it all out on my own. That's
definitely. It is a collaborative. And remember, Pluto Aquarius, you guys, is asking us to be our true authentic selves.
Yeah.
And it's more power to the people, where Pluto Capricorn was power from the systems and the structures over the people.
Yeah.
Well, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be more power to the people, but it still will dig up, right? What does it do? Like the Hades, it digs up the underbelly of what? Science, technology, the internet, of AI. Like, so you're going to see kind of like the dirty secrets behind the crypto and the AI and all that. You know what I mean? So just don't get like hoodwinked and just think immediately Pluto Aquarius, oh, free love and everybody gets a slice of vegan pizza and kombucha. Well, yeah, there still may be some GMOs in it, so be mindful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like still keep the third eye, activated, and still find your soul tribe. And I think the Lilith and Virgo for this eclipse, to me, is really letting us know there's something about the Virgo energy that is our tribe at this time, right? So like, I'm a Virgo stellium, Virgo sun, right? Mary and Jesus, both Virgos. So there's something about the Virgo energy with the Juno, Lilith, and Venus being there.
And Regulus,
right? To get back to humanity, get back to service, get back to oneness, nature. Remember what's Virgo? The virgin, the wheat, and the medicine, right? On that healing access, the Virgo, Pisces. And look, tonight you got a Virgo and a Pisces. Right? Giving you the healing astrological insight and information for this Taurus lunar eclipse. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what's wrong, just subscribe. But also go support Lisa Brady on Instagram, on her YouTube. Email her directly, right? LisaBrady.org.
Correct. Yep.
Got this great deal for you, right?
Yep.
And anything else you want them to know?
No, just take care of yourself. Keep your chins up.
But wait. Do you do like galactic love readings too and stuff like that?
So I can do marriage charts. I can look for the twin flame connections. It's not my big specialty. Really helping people step into their healing abilities and their psychic gifts is really in their soul origin. But I can definitely do that.
That's what we all need right now, anyway.
With the consent,
I just had to ask because I know it's always, money and love is always on people's minds. So
yeah, I need the consent of both parties. So I can't do a report on somebody that you're interested in. Like, it has to be because of the Akashic records and universal law. But yeah, we can just hit me up, info@LisaBrady.org, and tell me you came from Eric's site, and I'll hook you up.
Listen, that name Eric Taylor holds weight, you guys.
Yeah,
especially in the Galactic. I like that. Okay. So thank you so much, my friend. This was great. You guys enjoy.
Thank you, everybody.
Remember this. Always choose love over fear. There's nothing to fear with this eclipse energy. The Uranus is kind of going over California. Just be mindful of that. So there could be some extreme weather. We're going to pray for peace and calm and just healing on the earth. Venus trine Uranus, the Venus sextile to Mars. Let's connect in positive, harmonious ways, you guys, and definitely connect to the earth and nature. All right. So this has been fun. And yeah, episode 167, Knowledge is Love.
I'll have to come back sometime.
Oh,
Good night.
definitely. You're always welcome back on my show, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, you guys. Bye.